going on? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I think this is part 8 now of the Mustang turbo build. So we are headed over to Garage de Joseph Young, and I picked up a few parts earlier. I was missing actually one 3-inch coupler, so I had to get another coupler and some T-bolt clamps and a few other little odds and ends. But tonight we are going to build the other lower intercooler pipe. And I forgot to show in the last video the way that I had tucked up and zip tied and taped up all the wiring. So I'm going to show you guys that when we get there, just so you can kind of see. It looks really clean. Like I said, we did have to put the fuse box back up, but the PCM is relocated and we had to reroute the whole engine harness, but it looks a lot cleaner. Had to extend some wires, but I'll show you guys that when we get over there. And then we're going to build the other side lower intercooler pipe where the blow-off valve is actually going to go, so that'll be exciting to see that. And that will complete the intercooler piping. So really excited to get over and get some of that stuff done. We'll see you guys when we get over there. All right, so here's the wiring from yesterday. Just need to cover these up, but there's a little distribution block. The wires are all ran up to the battery. So once the battery's in, we'll be good to go. Just gotta ground those two last wires, but this is the harness we've already taped up and tucked. Gotta tape those up, but it looks really good. So I just put the motor mount back on, lowered the motor, so we're going to start actually putting the hot parts kit on, and then we can kind of lay out how we're going to do this last little lower intercooler pipe.
David is bolting on the turbo. It is currently, I think that clock's a little off. I think it's 8:45 instead of 7:45. He started this at 7:30. What? 7:30, and he doesn't even have these 4 bolts tight yet.
Hot pipes on. I finished the wire.
What are you doing?
Oh man, guys,
he does have the hot pipes on.
This is a monumental moment right now.
Almost hold on, let's get that shot.
Almost looks
David's
like
in the way of me getting the shot.
Almost looks like a real turbo kit.
Well, minus the baby turbo.
Minus the stock Mitsubishi
turbo. Yeah. And we are watching the tech game right now. The score is 17-7. Put your guesses below who's winning. What am I kidding? It's a car channel. No one knows anything about sports. We'll get back to the turbo action.
Why do you look so guilty?
David did this.
Look at it. It looks like an actual turbo kit. So we've got the turbo mounted. All the hot parts are on. We're trying to line up the last intercooler pipe. But we've got to bend some of that metal back to make some room for that pipe. And then this pipe will get the blow-off valve. That one, Joe said, shouldn't be too bad to build, right?
I don't think so.
Not too bad. Trim it, add a little piece, a little blow-off valve flange somewhere, and blow shit up. But yeah, I think we got to clock turbo a little more. But the cool thing is you can loosen these, clock them whichever way you need it. But yeah, so this pipe is going to go right through there. Run the blow-off valve on that. And then that's pretty much it for the turbo system. Except some oil return. Oh, shoot.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine. But you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
Probably shouldn't yell that too loud. So yeah, and then tomorrow the oil feed line fitting comes in, so then we can run all the oil lines, and then after that it's the exhaust and trying to mount the coolant tank somewhere. That'll be fun. So it's a pretty good update though. We're making huge progress with all this bolted on. It looks like we actually did something this past week and a half.
True that.
Looking good. Alright, so unfortunately I had to cut the night short. Kevin was picking up the project car. You guys will have already seen the video on it, but this is the night of him picking up the project car, and it actually died on him. So thought it was the battery at first, then thought it could be the starter, but I think it's actually something fuel related. So that'll be fun to fix already. We're not making good progress on the project car. He did have like a 100-mile drive home and everything was fine. He sent me videos of him cruising. I mean, you guys have probably already seen the video, but he sent me videos of him cruising it like 80, 90 miles an hour. It was running cool, nothing was wrong with it, and then all of a sudden he's like 5 minutes from our house and it died. So I'm gonna go pick him up, but pretty exciting that we got the project car done. But back to the Mustang topic, we are so freaking close. I mean, we've got to run oil return line, oil feed line with the fittings. Joseph's gonna finish that lower intercooler pipe with the blow-off valve. We've got to build the exhaust and put the battery back in, tape up some wires, put some oil in it, put some coolant in it, and man, we are freaking close. We're so close. This is crazy. So freaking close, man. This would be awesome. So this Thursday would have been 2 weeks that we started on it. So didn't honestly take too long. Obviously we had a couple struggles here and there, but I'm really excited to turn it on. I've already talked to Lund about a base file tune for it so we can get it started, see if there's any leaks or anything. So I'm working with him to get that so we can get that uploaded in the car. Even though we have stock fuel system, he's gonna send us a tune that we can idle it, drive it around on, make sure nothing's leaking, because that'll be the biggest hurdle is if something's leaking, we gotta fix that. But at least the turbo kit is really coming together. We've done massive amounts of work to get where we are now, but huge shout out to Joseph Young. Make sure you follow him at Streetcar Joe on Instagram if you haven't already. He does have a YouTube channel, Joe Young, but he doesn't ever post on there. So if you think he should post on there or start posting on there, comment down below. He's got a bunch of old videos on there of his vet. That was a crazy ass 8th mile grudge car. It was nasty. It was an F1X Z06. Enough of me talking about it. Just go over to his channel, check it out. Joe Young. He's got some videos on his twin turbo Mustang that he had. So I think he should definitely start uploading. Alright, what is going on, everybody? I decided to bring yesterday's video into today because we didn't get that much done last night because I was called off of the Mustang project to go help Kevin with his project car. So you guys will see a video on Kevin's channel about all that. Anyways, so we didn't get very much done last night. However, everything's mounted. Today, hopefully, we will get the lower intercooler pipe done with the blow-off valve and the flange on it. I got the fitting in for the oil feed line so we can get all that ran. I think I'm gonna have Joseph run it because I don't want to mess up that fitting again. But that will take care of the oil feed line. Then we got to build an oil return line, probably heat wrap it because it does go down by the hot parts kit from CG Fab, so we'll probably have to heat wrap that. Then we need to build the exhaust and figure out how we're going to route that, heat wrap anything that's in the vicinity of that, and then we need to mount the overflow coolant tank, and I'm hoping we do that today. That way tomorrow I can go find fittings and hoses for that, and that will pretty much, I think that completes everything. I got to tape up a few wires here and there, mount the battery, put the engine mount back on. Or the engine mount's on right now, but we're gonna remove it to get the oil feed fitting on there and get the oil pressure sensor back on, run the oil feed line, put the motor mount back on. Really minimal stuff if you think about it. Just sometimes some of that stuff doesn't go as smooth as you would hope it would. As obviously, I've had to overnight this stupid vibrant fitting twice now. Anyways, we are moving right along though. I think, I don't know, I'm hoping we can start it this week, but may wait until next week. So we'll see how everything goes. I mean, everything will be ready to start this week. I gotta buy a bunch of oil and coolant, and I gotta pay for the tune up front. And if you guys don't know, I'm going to Vegas next week, so I might have to wait until we get back from Vegas. Just, I don't want to be spending a bunch of money right before Vegas and then go to Vegas with no money, because it's not for me. Vegas is for Kennedy. It's for her birthday, so I need to take care of her while we're out there and not be buying tunes and injectors and stuff. So we'll see. We may not start until we get back, but I will update you guys on that as the progress proceeds. But I'll see you guys over at Joseph's house. Alright guys, just another day in Streetcar Joe's garage. So Joe was nice enough to finish up the lower intercooler pipe. Look at them welds.
That one turned out pretty good.
Woo! Stacking dimes over here.
It's the whole stack of dimes thing. Can you get?
I had to clock the inside housing. That way the oil pressure and oil feed are going straight up and down vertically. And Joe is using his magic hands to do the oil feed line since someone in this garage, I don't want to name names, messed it up yesterday. Joseph, do you want to name names?
David Van Forest.
Okay. Puts me on blast. But look at this turbo system. This is looking good. Joe freaking killed it. Look how everything lines up. So much symmetry. Joseph, you killed it. You really outdid yourself.
Thank you, sir.
Oof, that looks good. So he's gonna put that fitting on, and then what's after that?
That's a good question.
We do not know what's after that.
Start it up.
We are not starting it. We got to mount the coolant tank, figure out the lines for that. We probably need to throw the wastegates on, make sure they're not hitting anything. And we have to build the oil return line also. So that's part of what we got going on. Alright, so there's a properly installed oil feed. Got the pressure sensor on there too for the oil pressure. Joseph, it's leaking. I can see it from here.
Oh no.
Just kidding, there's no oil in this car. Looking good. So now we're going to put the motor mount back on, and then we're going to loop this feed line over, then we can attach it to the turbo. Alright, so we had to build the oil return flange, so had to pull the turbo back off. This is easier to put this on, it's just really tight in there. So now we can mount the turbo back up for the 9th time today. Alright, so we have ran into some unforeseen events. Again, this is what happens when you're doing your own kit. Honestly, I blame CG Fab for this one. So the problem is, if you see this hot pipe right here, how close it is to the flange, when you mount the turbo, the oil drain fitting can't fit in there. So this is a 90, and realistically, you really want to run it as straight as possible because this oil is just gravity falling down into the oil pan. So a 90 is not the best option. However, a 90 was the only one that would clear that. But the problem is when we put the 90 on, the hose goes this way and doesn't have room to bend. We put a 45 on, and that doesn't clear either. And we tried clocking the turbo. I tried grinding an AN fitting. I don't even know where it went, but it went through the metal. And so that's the problem. Joe, options? We are searching. So they do make low profile ones of these. So I did order one. Obviously, again, it won't be here till Thursday, and today's Tuesday. So something again to set us back. I'll probably check some fitting stores tomorrow, see if they have anything. And if the low profile one doesn't help us, we'll have to either see if we can find a flange that's a little thinner, or hardline it is another option. But once again, got to order parts, build it, and sets us back pretty far again. We thought we were close. Just when we thought we were close.
When you thought you were on the home stretch.
Yeah, so if this flange was maybe a little bit thicker, or if he...
like 100,000.
I mean, really small. Or if this pipe was just bent just slightly a little more down, it would fit, but I don't know. We are stuck right now. And by the time you see this video, we'll have figured it out, probably. So, that's that. Shout out CG Fab for messing this up. So, another thing I said in another video, we had to move the transmission lines way down, and the wastegate is going to hit the radiator fan, so we'll have to trim some of that. But we did make that fit. Everything else fit pretty good. The headers fit perfectly. It's really just these front pipes that are messing us up. Oh boy. So, issues after issues. It seems like every time we get ahead, we take 2 steps back. So, and I don't know, I don't want to say too much about CG Fab. The guy was super cool when I bought the kit. He makes kits for a lot of Mustangs. I know a lot of Fox bodies use him. Not too many newer Mustangs, just because I don't think CG Fabrications is that well known yet. But, you know, like the manifolds lined up perfectly. Obviously, we had to move the harness, which was a pain in the ass, and I messaged him and said, what do you do with the harness? And all he said was move it. I was hoping he would have some better answer for that. But you would think that when you build a hot parts kit, you make sure everything fits. Here's the thing. The headers fit, they bolted up, but they hit the harness. You can't expect everyone to move the harness, or you need to say that on your website. The other problem, which was the biggest problem we're now running into, so the harness was a hole. I mean, that set us back a couple days trying to move the PCM and reroute the wiring and create a distribution block and extend those cables to the battery. I mean, that was a whole ordeal right there in itself. And then, you know, we feel like we're finally making headway on this kit, and we go to bolt up the turbo lines up good, it's sitting in a good spot, and tonight we try and put on the oil drain, and it hits the hot parts kit. And he knew exactly, he asks you what turbo you're going to run with his kit, that way he can adjust it if he needs to. And he knew I was going to run a Precision 7675 turbo, and there's no way you can get an oil drain in there. The only way is that we think if you run a hard 45 fitting off of there, which we might have to do now, we might have to build our own, we couldn't find any, or I just ordered a low profile 45 degree 10N fitting, which when you guys see this video we probably will have figured it out, but just trying to keep you up to date on what's going on. So they sell low profile ones, but even then we don't know if it's going to give us enough room to actually clear. It's going to be really close. What they should have done, or CG Fab should have done, is either degreed that pipe a little more down to give you room for the flange or for the AN fitting to clear, or make the turbo flange a little bit thicker where the turbo mounts up. I mean, there's just no room. And even if this low profile AN fitting clears, it's going to be barely clearing the hot side right there. I mean, it is so close. So we had taken, I talked about it earlier, but we had taken an AN fitting and grinded down, and it was still hitting. So I grinded more, and I went too far and went actually through. You know, there's just not that much material there, and you can't expect people to grind that much off. You can't expect people to grind the fitting anyway. So, you know, I'll probably send some pictures to CG Fab, because all in all, that would only help them improve on their product if none of this stuff really fits, and they're selling it as a bolt-on hot parts kit. This is not sold as a you gotta remove a bunch of shit kit. This is sold as the hot parts kit will line up with the turbo you tell us to, or tell us that you're gonna use, and you just have to provide your own cold side kit. I mean, they even sell a cold side kit, and who knows if that would even line up. So, like I said, the manifolds were fine. We moved the harness, whatever. We got over that. But now it's the small stuff that's not lining up. And I showed you guys, I didn't show you the wastegate, but I showed you the positioning. We had to move the transmission lines way down. So we had to heat wrap them and zip tie them down. And we actually, you guys saw in an earlier video, I moved the transmission cooler probably 5 to 6 inches lower so that it would help pull the lines down. And then we mounted the lines and bracketed in them so that they would stay down and out of the way. And even then, the wastegate's still gonna hit on the radiator shroud. So now we've got to trim the radiator shroud. Boy! Oh, man. Huge shout to Joseph, though. He's staying positive, and, you know, my car is obviously staying there probably a lot longer than he had anticipated. I mean, I'm sure he wants his garage space back. So huge shout to him for being understanding. And I guess I was naive on everything. I mean, if everything would have gone as planned, it wouldn't have been that bad. It would have been just time. And like fabbing up the intercooler pipes, it wasn't really that hard for Joseph once we lined them all out. Like that part wasn't, that took literally as long as we had expected. Knocked that out in a night. But it's the other stuff where we thought we were buying these hot part kits as they would line up, and we wouldn't run into trouble with that. So we're having to adjust stuff that we didn't build. I mean, we might as well have just built the hot parts kit at this point, because we would have made sure everything lined up. So like I said, I don't know if CG Fab is maybe building it off of a 17 and assuming it would just clear an 18 the same, but they're not the exact same. There is some differences. So I don't know. Just sucks. Just really sucks. Like, we could have had so much more done. Granted, we do have a little bit more work cut out for us, but now it's like this is pushing us back. I had to buy another $50 fitting. I mean, this fitting was literally $50 because some low profile is supposed to clear this 45 degree 10N fitting. It's supposed to clear a lot easier. But so if that doesn't fit, then I've got to send that back and spend more money, and we got to build some type of hard line that comes right off the oil drain. So yeah, that's pretty much what's going on right now. I mean, we found another fitting that might work, but it's $60 plus I would need a different flange on the return, which is $40. I mean, you're talking $100 just to run this oil drain. It's insane. So, and not including us cutting this hose every time and trying to mount an AN fitting and then realizing it's not working, we're wasting more and more of this nice, you know, flexible hose. This stuff's not cheap, and it's adding up really quick. So, oh boy, oh boy. That's your update for tonight. Man, I think this is part 8 of part 27. Who knows? So, make sure you guys stay positive out there. And make sure you comment, like, subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and Snapchat at Bambi39. Follow Joseph at StreetCarJoe. We'll see you guys on the next one.